Welcome back to the Ride and Inspire Rawcast. If you're new here, then in this podcast, I blend trail stories, pro coaching tips, and simple brain hacks, all drawn from my full-time career as a mountain bike coach, psychological counselor, and a neuromental trainer. I'm Roxy, and today I'm sharing insights I had at the IMBA Europe Summit, which was held in Boltaña. That's in northern Spain at the Zona Cero, which is a stunning mountain biking and hiking area in an area called Mountain Bike Kingdoms. So last week I had the absolute honor of being invited as a keynote speaker to the IMBA Europe Summit. And standing there in front of 170 people, in front of leaders from across the mountain biking world, was humbling, and honestly, it was also a little intimidating. But more than anything, it was actually deeply, deeply meaningful. So in this episode, I want to share with you the biggest takeaways that left me totally buzzing I want to talk about brain gain versus brain drain. And I want to share some inspiring new research on e-mountain bikes, about conversations that I had with industry leaders, about the future of mountain biking and marketing, and I want to share about the incredible women and projects that are shaping a more inclusive mountain bike world. In my keynote, I talked about something that's very close to my heart: brain drain versus brain gain. Brain drain happens when knowledge disappears, basically, when we allow, for example, procrastination, or I'd call them shallow joys, to shape our daily life. And if you look at brain drain on a more regional level, it happens when talent leaves rural areas, or generally when experience and insights are kept to oneself instead of being shared. Brain gain, on the other hand, happens when we create ecosystems instead of islands. So when we mentor, when we pass on what we know, because that's when everyone grows. And when we grow for the sake of growing, when we keep pushing ourselves to learn new skills, for example, just for the sake of becoming better, for the sake of feeling more alive and improving the status quo, that's when brain gain happens. And thanks to remote possibilities, it doesn't really matter anymore where you are. A rural region can thrive. A rider in their 60s can learn. A busy parent can still make progress, because you have global access to knowledge, to feedback, to growth, no matter your location. And that's precisely why I do what I do with my remote coaching. So I was invited to the summit to share how my remote coaching model is helping riders all over the world and is helping drive brain gain. And actually, as soon as the speech is online, because it was recorded, I'll share the link to it below, so I won't go into a lot of details of my speech right now. Because today I want to dive into some of my key takeaways of this IMBA Europe Summit. One of my favorite moments at the summit was actually hearing Dr. Leslie Ingram-Sills from Edinburgh Napier University, because she presented her team's research. And they found that e-mountain bikes aren't just making climbs easier. So a lot of people still say, e-biking is cheating, but actually they're changing how trails are used. Riders are lapping more, they're exploring more, and they're revisiting trails they used to just ride once, and now they ride them 3 or 4 times. And this isn't just about fitness, it's about access. For older riders, or for busy riders, or for anyone recovering from an injury, e-mountain bikes extend not only how much you can ride, but how long in life you can keep riding. And this research will shape our trails and our rides in the future. So we'll see changes in how we plan, how we build, how we think about participation in mountain biking. And yes, linking this back to brain gain, this can also create new mountain bike ecosystems in rural areas, and thus create new jobs, new opportunities, new mountain bike hubs. So one tip I really want to give to you, if you see someone calling for mountain bike research, so asking you to fill out a survey, please do, because it's so important to help that research thrive and to get all the information. And I think sometimes it can be hard to get people answering those surveys. I also had some amazing conversations with managers actually from leading brands in the mountain biking industry. And here's what struck me. Behind closed doors, many of them actually admitted that mountain biking is way more than what their marketing and the general marketing of mountain biking conveys. We all know that shred life image, the daredevil, the flying through the air, whip there, gnarly line, stand it or go home. We all know that image of mountain biking. It is a part of mountain biking, but it's not the whole of mountain biking. And in the breakout sessions we had, I shared my perspective that making mountain biking, or generally making mountain bike marketing more inclusive, is not just about sharing more women or older riders, it's also about showing other facets of our sport. For example, the calm joy of trail riding, or the challenge of skills practice, especially at advanced age, or building endurance and consistency, and how that transfers to life. Because everything we learn on the bike, it does transfer to life. And how all these things can actually reverse age-related decline. Because I've read a hell of a lot of research on this lately. And I've already talked about this in some of my older podcasts, and actually in a video where I talk about the neuroscience of skills coaching. I'll share the link below, because all of this and sharing about this is all a great example of how more inclusive marketing can look like. A great example, by the way, of this is Endura's new Loop Collection marketing, because it really highlights how everyday riding and also older riders are an equally legitimate part of mountain biking. And that kind of storytelling, it really changes who feels welcome in this sport. It lowers the barriers to enter the sport. Another theme that kept coming up was mental health and our connection to nature. For me, mountain biking has always been much more than adrenaline. It's about regulating stress. It's about finding flow and reconnecting with ourselves outdoors. It's even about helping burnout. Many clients I work with use mountain biking therapeutically to help ease symptoms of depression, burnout. And I even have one client, when she started, she used to take ADHD medication, and she doesn't take it anymore because through skills training, she trained her brain to be able to focus again. And this is an amazing side of mountain biking that, in my opinion, is just so underrated. And at the summit, I realized I'm not alone on this. Yes, downhill and enduro and the performance aspect of mountain biking are exciting, and they are an important part of the sport. But so is trail riding, bikepacking, or just practicing skills in the park, or simply even taking the bike for a spin around a lake. All of this is mountain biking. All of this is real, and all of it deserves respect. Perhaps one of the most inspiring parts of the summit was actually seeing how many women are shaping the future of mountain biking already. I'm going to share some examples that were specifically inspiring, but there were so many more. One of the ladies was Pinar, or actually it's a Turkish name and it's called Pinar. She is currently living in Italy, and she showed how an Italian cycling magazine went from 2% female readers to 25% female readership when women got to choose what to write about, because inclusion changes everything. Then there was Esther from Outride, and she's helping schools bring mountain biking into their daily programs. Imagine mountain biking being as normal as soccer class or football class for 10-year-olds. That is how you grow a sport sustainably. Then there was a really amazing keynote from Julie from World Ride. She works in, for example, Nepal and Bhutan, and she's teaching women not just to ride a bike, but to become mountain bike guides. And for many of them, they're actually riding a bike for the first time. It's life-changing. It's proof that they can earn an income, that they can gain independence, and just move beyond limiting beliefs. Then there was Evelyn from Dutch Girls on Wheels, and that touched me deeply. She used to work as a therapist with the police force, teaching group dynamics, for example, and now she's bringing all that knowledge into mountain biking, creating safe and empowering group environments for women, for children. And she's now even joined the IMBA board, and she's showing us how her past professional skills can shape the future of our sport. Then there was also Manon Carpenter, who, as you probably know, is a former downhill world champion, and she's now on the IMBA board, lending her voice to inclusivity. And alongside her, for example, Lauren Rowney, who is an ex-pro road racer, is also shaping the direction of mountain biking. We even had women's evenings, sharing stories, lifting each other up, brainstorming ideas. It was the opposite of competition. It was really community at its best. Oh yeah, before I forget, there was also Dr. Fiona Spotswood. She shared her work with FIAS in a breakout session. FIAS stands for Fostering Inclusive Action Sports. And she showed how even small changes, she researches in this area, she showed how even small changes like the words we use, the images we show, and the role models we highlight, how these can break down barriers. It was so practical, it was super hopeful, and yes, it was very inspiring. So leaving the summit, I didn't just feel inspired as a coach, but I also felt inspired as a rider and as a woman in the sport. For me, the message was super clear. The future of mountain biking is not just about being faster, not just about riding steeper, or not just about riding the next super gnarly trail. It's about being more connected. It's about being more inclusive, and yes, also more diverse. And every one of us plays a role by welcoming new riders, by sharing our knowledge, sharing our skills, by questioning the images we put out there. So I would really like to know, what is mountain biking to you? What does mountain biking really mean to you? Is it adrenaline? Is it fitness? Is it adventure, mental health, nature connection, community? Share it below this episode on my YouTube channel. The link is below because it's much easier to comment below YouTube videos. So I'm just going to share that link below. And whatever your answer is, let me tell you, it's valid as long as it's friendly. It's real. It's worth celebrating. So thank you for being here until the end. If this inspired you, please share the episode with someone who might also need to hear that mountain biking isn't just an adrenaline sport. It is so, so much more. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, ride and inspire.